I'm recording too. We're both recording. We're recording. Okay.
Listen.
Yes, I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm looking. I'm looking and I'm listening and I'm listening. I'm looking. I'm doing both.
There's too much happening. All at one time.
Nothing has happened.
So much has happened.
There's nothing happening.
I'm flipping and I'm recording and...
We didn't introduce ourselves, did we?
I'm Natalie.
Hi, I'm Cory.
This is Pathetic and Poetic.
Oh. I don't know why I thought we were going to go back and forth on every other word. I don't know why. In my mind I thought that's what was going to happen.
I mean, because that would be cute, but we'd have to have our shit together to do that, so...
We would. And when you explain it, it becomes less spontaneous, which makes it a lot less fun.
Yeah. So anyway, this is a podcast we do. There's poetry, sometimes. There's comedy, often.
Sometimes.
There's nonsense, always.
We are both debilitated right now.
Correct.
I am ill, and you are injured.
I am.
What a way to start off the year. You started off with a wedding.
Literally. My shift started at 4 o'clock.
p.m.
At 4:15, I went, not even 20 minutes in.
Did you work the rest of the shift?
And I have oh yeah. It was that holiday pay, baby.
Yeah, but still.
No way I was going home.
Oh, God.
I know. Poor choice.
If I get a slight bloody nose, I'll be like, I don't know, you guys. It might be a tumor. I think I'll have to leave.
I'm dead.
I don't know. I'm a baby.
I just, can't be a baby. Because if I had walked out, that was, half my rent.
Financially, you can't be a baby.
Financially, I cannot be a baby right now.
Yeah.
But also, I have a really hard time. Even I was still there and everybody kept asking me to lift things.
No.
And everyone was like, stop picking things up, Natalie. And I was like, I know, but people keep asking me, and no is a hard word for me.
We're going to teach you how to say no.
Please.
Okay. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a little no boot camp. What's the opposite of affirmative?
Negative.
Yeah, we're gonna do a negative boot camp. We're gonna sit you down.
Negatory.
We're just gonna ask you a bunch of obscene requests, and your only goal is to say no. No.
I had a discussion with someone about this. Who was it? It was when I was doing a lot of brand ambassador work, and it was me and this guy, and it was just the two of us, and we had to turn a lot of people away from whatever we were doing. And I kept saying, oh no, I'm so sorry, we're at capacity right now, or, oh, I'm sorry, but no, unfortunately we're unable to do that. And he would just be like, no.
Yeah.
No. And I was like, teach me your ways.
You have the Midwestern mentality to constantly want to make people feel better about the fact that you can't do anything to change their circumstance.
Right. It's always no, sorry, or no, and an explanation. I have an impossible time saying no.
I say I'm sorry in almost every scenario.
Me too.
I don't mean it. It is just a punctuation.
So my dean and I were trying to help each other with this, because especially when I was, so he was in grad school during the pandemic, and I was editing a lot of his papers, and he would be editing something, or I would make a suggestion, and then he would be typing away. So it'd be silence on the phone for a couple minutes even. And he'd be like, sorry, I'm just gonna, and I was like, no, stop saying sorry. That's what we're here for. He was like, I know. And so then we started with each other. Whenever we apologized in a scenario where it was completely unnecessary, we would call each other on it. And instead we would go, million pardons, madam. 1,000 apologies, sir.
I wouldn't apologize. Sorry.
Yeah, just something ridiculous to call attention to it and be like, hey, you're doing it again and you don't need to. Let's get out of the habit of this. So we're always million pardons, madam.
Oh, I couldn't be more sorry. Oh, shit, I said it again. This is the,
No, but he would be like, my most sincere regrets, madam. Just something absolutely ridiculous to call attention to it
My
and then say,
my
hey,
dearest apologies, madam. I didn't mean to apologize to you for doing something I didn't do. I apologize.
You know what that just reminded me of? Did you ever see that dramatic reading of a breakup letter?
No.
This is one of my clearest memories from high school. We watched this thing on repeat. It is a teenage boy dramatically reading a breakup letter that a girl sent him.
Oh, like a text? Or like an actual letter?
I think it was an actual physical letter. It might have been a text, but if I recall correctly, it was a physical letter. And it was
I'm really hoping that it was like on the notebook paper where you pull it out, but you don't tear off the fringes. And so it's just got all the loose...
I mean, that's the vibe.
Oh,
and
my God.
It was nuts. This person like went off on him and was like, there's a line where she was like, I'd rather date a spider or a rat. And the way you were talking just then reminded me exactly of that. If you, the listeners at large, have not heard this YouTube video, go find it. Dramatic reading of a breakup letter. It is so funny.
I think we have a topic for this week.
Are we writing a dramatic breakup letter?
Yeah. And then you have to read them as like a butler making an announcement to the whole hall.
Oh, no! Oh, man.
I guess because I haven't seen it, I wouldn't like default to whatever that video is, but you might.
I might.
My parents and I, we were watching SNL. This was this was during the inauguration. I was living in DC, and after the insurrection, we thought something horrible was going to happen, so I immediately flew home, and nothing happened. But we were sitting and watching SNL, and they did one of those, The War in Words. I think they've done one with Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and they've done one with Claire Foy, where they're writing letters to their husbands back home in the war. Mm-hmm. Or they're back home, and their husbands are in the war, and they're writing letters, and they're like, my dearest Roger, it's been many moons since I've seen you. And then but then she replies, and she goes, sounds tough. Love, Margaret. Like she like does not reply at all. And then my mom was trying to write a text message to someone, and she was like sort of reading it out loud. And so then my dad and I started reading it back to her in that voice. Like, my dearest Joanne, many a moon since our last communication follied, and I wanted to send a missive about your most recent transgressions with the auto parts store. Like,
oh my God, not a missive.
It's a very good time.
I haven't, there's no, I haven't really had, like a boyfriend.
Oh, well, you don't have to write it about an actual person.
Oh. Yeah, but
like a dream.
What am I going to write it about?
A dream breakup.
A dream? Do you dream about your breakups? Do we have something we have to talk about?
No. But haven't you ever wanted to haven't you ever wanted to throw a scene in a restaurant? Is that only me? Like I don't want to. Like real me doesn't want to, because I know that's annoying and that's petulant and that's a whole thing, and your back looks like it really hurts right now.
It's not good. I moved and I barely moved and it hurts so bad.
Why don't you just sit still? Why don't you just not move?
I'm trying. I'm not good at that.
Okay. We should get you one of those like those weird annoying back correctors. Where do you know what I'm talking about?
Where it shocks you and makes you stand up straight.
Yeah. And then that one will just keep you still. I have
a back brace at home from my days as a plant.
What does that mean?
When I was in Little Shop and I was a plant.
Oh, and you were a plant.
Yeah.
Well, maybe get your dearest mother and father.
Well, I'm going home this weekend, so I might have to rapper.
Rapper.
Hope my back is better by then, though, because I have this dance audition. And we've gotten so off the rails.
I know.
I forgot we were even recording at this point.
Did you really?
A little bit there.
It's weird because 10 seconds ago we were talking about a topic we'd be writing about.
I know.
It's New Year's. Should we talk about New Year's? We can talk about New Year's.
It is. Yeah. How has your new year gotten off to a good start? How's it been?
Well, I've been sick.
That's true.
So there's that. I think it's been good. I threw a small party for New Year's Eve.
Say I threw up, and I was like, oh, they're not.
I threw up. No, actually, I didn't throw up.
Proud of you.
That was cool.
So small New Year's party, great.
Well, okay. So I had to fly to Ohio, sort of last minute for the holidays.
Right.
And I bought the tickets really, really late the day before I had to go. And somehow in my infinite wisdom, bought 2 one-way tickets from Chicago to Cleveland. Never buying a return ticket back to Chicago. When I get to the airport, obviously, I can't get through the airport.
How did you do?
How do I do that? It's a great question. For some reason, when I was trying to book round trip tickets, it wasn't coming out. I think it was because maybe the Southwest thing was just starting or whatever. And so things were starting to get bumped all around the place. So I was like, okay, it's easier to do one-way tickets. Mm-hmm. But I just never changed the airport, but I did change the dates.
Gotcha.
So I did that. I got to the airport. Of course, I couldn't board a flight because I didn't have a flight at that time at that airport. My flight was taking off from Chicago, mind you, while I was in Cleveland because that's the ticket I had. You seem confused.
I'm confused. So wait, this is you leaving?
So I flew from Chicago to Cleveland.
No problems.
No problem.
Gotcha.
My second ticket was 7 days later, also from Chicago to Cleveland.
I understand.
But I was in Cleveland. So, of course, I can't get in the airport because I don't have a ticket for that airport at that time. So I asked the United people, what can you do for me? Or what can I do for you? What can be done? And they say, well, we can't get you out until Friday. It's Monday at this point. So I was like, cool. Love that. So I'm sort of power walking down the terminal to anybody else. I'm not going to go to Southwest. I'm not doing Spirit. I'm not doing Frontier. But I was like, I know American is on the far side. While I'm walking across the terminal, I remember.
What's the problem with Frontier?
Well, Frontier sucks.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. Frontier sucks. It doesn't matter if they put animals on the tails of their planes. They suck. Little lynx and little bear. Little penguin on the tail of the plane. So I'm on my way down, and I remember that I have 3 friends from Cleveland who live in Chicago. Total. No, I have 3 friends total. One of them's you, and then 2 of them are from Cleveland, but they live in Chicago. And I knew they were in town for the holidays, and I was like, ooh, brilliant. I can see if I can catch a ride with one of them. I'll pay for gas, I'll pay for snacks, whatever. I call them both, and they both... Wait, did I say 3 or did I say 2? I have 2 friends.
No, you said you have 3 friends total. I'm one of them. These are the other 2.
These are the other 2. Okay. I called both of them, and they both said... Oh, yeah, we drove back yesterday. We thought about texting you, but figured you had a way back to Chicago. See you back in the city. It's like,
you were like, if I ever get there.
I was so sure. I was like, I'm going to be stuck for another week. But I did end up getting a ticket. Had I gotten a ticket on any other day, it would have been $700. But I was able to get out on under $300, which was fantastic. Even though the plane got delayed thrice, mind you.
Oh my God.
An initial delay. Then there was a mechanical failure. And then they overfueled the plane.
Is that a thing?
Apparently it's a thing. It changes your landing weight. Don't know what that is. Don't know how that makes sense. But it does make sense. So that was my winter.
Cut out the part about my spine. Cut out the part about me. Everything. Everything I said.
Should we just start over?
We should start over and you should do the podcast by yourself.
Hi, my name is Cory. And that's... And this is Pathetic and Poetic.
Just be poetic.
Oh.
The pathetic factor would be gone.
Is you okay? All right. You and your belittlement and your downtrodden self and your naysaying Natalieism and your...
See? What an alliteration. You're clearly the poet here.
No, but I told you, my poetry has been kind of...
Nope. I will not stand for this.
This what?
This self-doubt and this...
It's not self-doubt.
I just saw the thing recording and the time like flying by and like disassociated into the clock of it all.
Is it like looking at the milliseconds, you're like, oh goddamn, that was gonna be so fast.
Just disassociated into the clock of it all.
You're trying to come up with a title now.
No, I'm not.
Disassociated into the clock of it all.
Into the clock of it all.
Okay, so a brief backup. Nat and I decided to change our topic because while I have a lot of scornful lovers, Natalie does not.
Oh boy!
So I have a lot of juice in the tank for being able to write a dramatic breakup letter, but because Natalie has had fewer tumultuous breakups than I. True or the false?
True.
Or should I not have said this as the explanation for why we're changing topics? Because that's exactly what you told me. I was
hoping to avoid it, but now that we're here.
Should I do it? Should we do it again? Should we do it again?
No, it's too late. What's done is done.
All right. So, is that my radiator or the outside world making that noise? I think it's both. Doesn't matter.
You missed my rueful sigh.
Your what?
My rueful sigh.
The hell is a rueful?
What the hell is a rueful?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Full of rue.
Like Kanga and Rue?
No!
Okay, Rue from the Hunger Games.
Oh my god.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Canceling you.
Oh, like you will rue the day?
Correct, sir. Canceled.
Okay. Canceled?
Super problematic that you don't know the word brew. Flip the pages.
Twas it. Okay, so what we're going to do is Natalie and I we're going to flip through the pages of our notebook. We're going to randomly pick a word. And those two words are going to help influence the poem we're going to write. And she looks pissed. Did I do a messy?
Flip the book.
Okay. All right. Tell me when to stop.
Are we flipping simultaneously or just you?
No. You're going to tell me when to stop and I'll tell you when to stop. Okay.
Stop.
Okay. Left side, right side.
Right.
All right, I have 2 poems on that page. Left side, right side.
Right.
All right. I'm going to run my finger down the page. You tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Okay.
Going for the quick stops over here.
There are 3 words on that line.
Second.
The second word? The second word is it.
Ah, shit.
Okay, wait. I'll pick the one next to that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or, you know what? Let's just use that line and then your line to, like, make a mood. To make a whole mood. Instead of, like, words. Because I realized a lot of my words are, like, its and is and buts and uts and... Anyway, your turn.
Lots of your words are butts?
Lots of my words are butts.
Interesting.
You know, because I'm a butt boy.
Oh, God. Okay.
Stop.
Ooh. Oh. Okay. Left or right?
Right.
Okay, and tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Okay.
Okay, so what's the line you have?
Like the full line or the literal line that I stopped on?
The literal line you stopped on.
Now I have dragged.
I have dragged. Okay.
And yours?
Well, originally it was bagel it is.
I feel like
This didn't work.
that in a nutshell is our personalities. I'm dragging something. You'll never know what. And you said bagels.
Bagel.
Bagel it is. Okay, I feel like, does that work? Does that work for you?
Yeah, we're writing poems about dragging bagels.
Or bagels dragging?
Or bagels dragging.
Like an anthropomorphic bagel dragging you to help?
Well, and just to be clear, I keep moving the speaker as if I don't know it's there. Or the microphone. Neither of our poems have to have dragging and bagel in them. It was just supposed to like create kind of an essence of a feeling.
A hint, a whisper.
I was going to say a whisper.
A whisper of desire. Name
Just
that show.
Oh, I know that show.
You do know that show.
Oh, shoots. Live action or animated?
Live action.
Okay.
Do you want me to tell you?
Can you give me the line before it?
I think I felt a whisper of desire.
Oh, is that Friends?
No.
No? Fuck! A whisper of desire. Oh.
A whisper of desire.
Stop saying it. Is that helping?
And then the person responds, a whisper of desire?
It's Schitt's Creek.
Correct.
It's Schitt's Creek.
I love that you fully got it from my Alexis impersonation.
Okay.
I'm a little bit. Copyright infringement?
La 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 la. A little bit of Alexis. Okay. I think that my idea of clearly ignoring the issue, because the entire poem that we pulled that bagel from is almost about me completely ignoring what's going on around me and drinking instead.
Love that.
So we have ignorance and drudgery.
Draggery? Is that what you said?
I said drudgery, but draggery works too.
This might be the title poem of my thing.
Does it really?
I can't remember which one's called that.
Because you don't give any of your poems titles.
What?
It's because you don't give any of your poems titles.
I don't until I have to. Like, legally have to.
I just cracked the hell out of my jaw. Did you hear that?
No.
Jesus.
I will in the playback, though.
No, I hope not.
I guess the vibe here, like, the vibe of that part in the poem is, like, a little bit about, like, feeling the power of doing things alone.
Okay.
And, like, not that you necessarily always want to do things alone, but now you know you can accomplish a lot of things alone that you didn't think you could. You know?
Those kind of loose emotions as a poem.
How did it go?
Oh, my writing?
Yeah.
I'm all sniffly because I'm sick, you see. I think it went well. I believe in podcast time 2 seconds ago, I said our bagels don't need to have to do with our bagels. Oh my God.
Our
poems
bagels don't have to do with poetry.
You ever written on a bagel before? You ever used smear to write a poem on the inside of a bagel and written sweet nothings to your lovely and sent it out to her, only for her to smash those two bagel halves together and eat it? Anyway,
This
so
has been fun.
I said we didn't have to write poems about bagels, and then I totally did.
I'm so excited to hear your bagel poem.
Yeah, I have a bagel poem. I have another poem that Natalie told me to read as well, because Natalie wrote a rather lengthy poem, and in the time that it took her to read her lengthy poem, I wrote To who? Poems.
To who? Like that Tootsie Pop commercial.
Yes. You used that reference in an earlier episode. And
Did I really?
I heard it and I didn't say anything about it, but I was listening to it. I was doing the editing and I was like, I know where that's from.
I know what it is.
I know what you are. My brother told me the other day, he's like, you guys need to start recording your podcast and posting on the YouTube because that's apparently where everybody gets all of their audience from. And I told him, we can't do that because we record our podcast in the dead of night in the shittiest clothing we have.
That's so accurate. If you guys could see me right now, you would be horrified.
You're wearing a back wrap as a necklace.
I sure am. I was using a little scarf as a back wrap that I have now turned into a necklace.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Or as some would call it, a scarf. It's like a necklace, but it's fabric, you see, and you tie it yourself in the front, not the back.
I love how much of our podcast is a visual medium. Oh no! Do we have to start a YouTube channel?
And we might.
Shit. I would love for you to go first. What we could do, if you want to read both poems, is we could do a delightful little sandwich situation.
Okay.
We could both start and end with you. Because, Cory, it's all about you.
Stop it. You told me to read the other one.
On your 16th birthday.
This one might make you feel, like, refreshed. I could read the breathing one first. That has nothing to do with the prompt whatsoever. I'm just going to do it very calmingly. Oh, yeah. I want you and the listeners at home to sort of close their eyes and breathe along. And think in your mind and live in your brain space. All right?
Okay. All right. What a journey.
Okay. Breathe with me. Think of the freshest memory you have, still sealed in mint condition, maybe mint related, like water mixed with toothpaste for the first time in your sinuses, sweet beach air whistling through wheat grasses and wet wind. Breathe out. Anything heavy. Not bad per se, but dense. Say, moving boxes overpacked, forcing suitcases closed, wishing for a call back the next morning. Make it deep. From the cave you were warned to never go in as a neighbor kid. Let it sink outside your lips. Feel the sighs roll off your tongue, and when it's clear, inhale. Something big and spongy. Too much cake with frosting dripping down your shirt. A lengthy laugh that lives in your split sides. Seeing a friend for the first time in eons. Sizable and filling. Exhale out the pit of your stomach. Fear for the future. The way you feel about your body when it rains. The days where you've never turned the lights on. The boy. That boy. Yes, that boy. A victim. He honestly was just squatting anyway. Now, how do you feel?
Hubbard a what?
What did you say?
Hubbard a what?
That's what I thought you said.
Ooh.
Ooh, ooh.
Oh.
I knew I got you on the boy.
Well, even before that, the way you feel about your body when it rains, that is a great freaking line. And then you stop on the boy. Yes, the boy. Yes, that boy. And then he was just squatting there. Is that the last line?
Yeah, he was just squatting anyway.
That was awesome. That was fantastic.
Thanks. Now my bagel poem has to live in the shadow of that.
You chose this.
Did you just call me Joseph?
I said you chose this.
I did.
Go, Joseph, you know what they say. I just decide your name is now Joseph.
Okay, Joseph, read your second poem.
Okay. We're both Joseph now. So you said earlier that mine was long. It is not long. It just took me a long-ass time to write it.
Well, you said you wrote 2 pages earlier.
Yeah, but like...
You have big...
tiny
you write big. You write big and you have tiny pages.
Yeah.
And I write small and I have big pages.
Okay. I don't know. I was doing that thing.
But do you know?
But I'm going to narrate to our listeners.
No, tell it to me as if it's the first time I'm hearing it.
I'm gonna.
Oh, sorry.
Because I'm telling it to them as if it's the first time they're hearing it.
I'm sorry. My dearest apologies,
pardons, madam.
I place 1,000,000 blessings upon your houses, my dear. I didn't mean what I said, and I didn't mean it.
So, what had happened was I had an idea for a poem earlier and did that stupid thing where I didn't immediately write it down. Mm-hmm. And then I was coming back to this and I was like, ooh, maybe that could work. And then I like half forgot what the idea was. And then I had a grasp on what I could do with the idea. And then was like, no, that sounds more of like a ramp up than the start of a poem. So let me hold off on that and write like an intro to like a setup for what that ramp up is going to be. And then it all fell apart. Mm-hmm. Bullshit off the tip of my pen. And I hated it.
Is that the title?
I quit.
Oh my God, you're already reading.
No.
Oh my God. I thought that was...
This is still my explanation.
Oh, I really wanted the entire thing to be in a Southern accent.
So then...
Bullshit off the tip of my pen.
Bullshit off the tip of my pen. Sorry. Then I started a new one. And I did this thing that I always do. And I'm trying to like challenge myself and expand.
Don't bully yourself.
No. I'm not bullying
Don't be your child's first bully.
I'm also trying not to just like let it go when I'm copping out. Like I'm going to call myself if I know I'm copping out. And I was copping out a little bit with this one. I didn't like it. It was this tactic that I always use where which doesn't make it bad, but it's like I could be doing something different. I could be doing something better. And I want to write a lot of varied poetry, and I want to have, a vast array of works. So I did this and I was not feeling great about it. And what I did was that I wrote a bunch of questions. And they're poetic questions and they're interesting and they kind of make you think. But I wasn't answering any of them, which was what you asked. I did. Are you answering any of the questions? I was not. I was just asking a bunch of questions. And could it have been like a maybe okay poem? Maybe. But this is attempt number 3, in which I ask less questions and have more of a poem.
I want to respond to that before you read.
Okay.
So, what is the difference then between a cop-out and the developing of your own voice and your own style? Like, just because it comes naturally doesn't mean that it has to be a bad thing. Totally.
Mm-hmm. And you make a fair point. I think it's just that I can tell with myself when I'm sort of being lazy with it. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I was being lazy with that. Okay. And granted, I'm not mad about it because it started like the ball rolling and it got me into a mindset and an idea for a poem. Yeah. But what I had written thus far was like, because honestly, it happens to me a lot of times. And it's like, not so much like judgment on myself or like, censoring myself or editing. It's not so much that. It's just that like, okay, this was iteration number 1.
Yeah.
But you're not feeling like sorry, I'm stuttering because I don't even know what I'm saying. It's as if I have this idea and I want to mine the idea for all it is worth. And if it derails and kind of goes in a different direction where I don't feel like I mined as deep as I could with the idea, then I try to call myself on it rather than losing that good idea and that that inspiration and something that could be a full-fledged and deeply mined full piece, rather than abandoning it and letting it be half-ass, why not stop before I get in too deep or start to hate it and start again and take the idea and morph it a little bit and tailor it and see if I can get it to where I want it to be.
Because then do you feel like it's worse, like, using an idea wrong than it would be to not use an idea at all?
No. Okay. But I also think there's something to be said for, like, addressing it if you feel like you're missing the mark, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, not to be overly critical, but like, if you're looking at it and you're saying, like, now I don't know where to go from here, and, like, what does that line really mean? Like, that's kind of how I was feeling. I was just asking questions because they sounded cool. What did they actually mean to me? Was it something that was that deep? And when I restarted it, with your advice to turn some of those questions into just statements, it got a lot deeper, and it has now more of a through line, and it has more of an arc, and it came around to be a full, like, it has kind of a full circle moment, I think, at least for me.
I've probably asked this before, but are you someone who feels like your first version should be your final? Like, and that might fall back under, like, the gifted child thing, which we've talked about before, of the, like, your first at-bat should be a home run for all of the straights listening to the podcast.
Not necessarily.
Okay. I have that issue.
I try not to edit too much as I go, but in some senses, yeah. Basically, what was happening with my first attempt at this was that I had gotten to the end of an entire page, and I was like, what am I even saying?
Yeah.
Like, the questions I was asking, they sounded cool, but I was like, where's the arc to this? What's the underlying thing that I'm trying to say? And if you can't answer that question, like, I feel like there can be unanswered questions, but if you can't answer the question, what are you trying to say?
Yeah.
Then you haven't accomplished saying anything. So that's where I was getting with this one.
That's fair. Yeah.
So I was like, some of these lines are cool though. Maybe use them and like you said, turn them into statements. And how does that change it?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a fine line, I feel like I toe between, like,
it's a fine
being overly critical and, like, editing in the moment. Because I don't want to censor myself. I want to kind of just let it flow. But I also, like, if I had just let this go, I feel like I would have been unhappy with whatever I came up with.
Yeah.
Because I think it was a little disingenuous.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, read your ingenuous poem.
Okay.
Or your genuous poem.
Genuine.
Just whatever. Yeah.
Okay. It tastes like relief. Peppermint and ice on the skin put the goosebumps away. There'll be time for that tomorrow. If you could taste your favorite song, would you pick it for dessert, or would your tongue be too tired of it already? It's hot, like bare skin on black top, but only after you've washed the car, only after the sprinklers have run for hours. Only as the lightning bugs are blinking on for the night. Maybe he smiled at you, but he hates the summer. Are you still gonna call it love? It's right outside your window. The Schrodinger's cat of sun or haze, of feeling the bright or being the bright, how much you gotta glow today. Are all the sidewalks wet or just in the alleys you've chosen? When was the last time you picked up the phone? Why wasn't it this morning? It's few and far between, but it's out there. Still the axis you're spinning around. A hand in yours, double squeeze.
Wait, did you end it with, did it say double squeeze? Aw. That was so cute.
Yeah.
Wait, is that something you do too?
That was like my mom used to do that to me all the time.
Oh.
When she would like whenever we would go out anywhere, she would make me hold her hand, obviously. And she would do like every so often. She'd be like, Kiki.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
I know.
This sounds so sweet. I used like when I hold hands with somebody and you like hold hands with them for like long enough, if you're like in the movies or something, and you just sort of feel like it's just sort of there. And so I like to you do the squeeze and you see if they squeeze back, and then you squeeze them and they squeeze back, and then you get to the point where you're breaking each other's hands, and then you're like, all right, we cool. That's okay.
Okay, good.
You stay here. It's okay.
Aw, that's sweet.
Yeah. So that was very nice.
Thank you.
It was very visual.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It really kind of had me thinking, and it's just like sort of in my brain, because you were asking questions, but then also answering the questions, but then also asking more questions. So it's got me, kind of all wrapped in my jellies.
And I think with what you said before, I do think that kind of like strategically asked questions, I think that is kind of part of a style of mine that I'm seeing, like a pattern in my work that I do see emerging. I just think I have to make sure that I am using it strategically, and I'm not using it as a crutch.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
It does make your work like a letter. Like often, like they're not really conversations because there isn't really a back and forth, but they are these sort of missives.
Like genuinely asked questions.
Yes.
But you're not really expecting, at least not an immediate response.
Yeah.
Oh, I never thought of it like that. That's
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I guess it's not an opened letter and it's not a closed letter. A semi-opened letter. I don't know. I like writing closed letters because if I were to want to talk to that person or whatever, like usually I feel like when I'm asking like those type of questions or whatever, it is to a particular person in mind, or like a concept. And you never really want them to actually reply.
Right.
You just sort of want them to, you never really even want them to hear it. The therapy's for you. The writing's for you. It's at them, but it's for you. Anyway, so sorry. Not important. But yeah, that was very sweet.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you want to read your Bagel poem?
Sure.
Woo,
sure.
Bagels.
I do it.
I do it.
I want to think more about you. Like as you were reading your first line about the mint, it made me think of like my first line talking about mint as well.
Oh yeah.
And then I was like,
I didn't think about that.
I was like, what if it always brings me back to like wanting to do a 2-person poem with you.
Yeah.
Which I would love to do at some point in time.
I'm yawning. I'm so sorry. Because it is
I know.
The dead of the night.
And my idea was boring.
Worst clothes. Anyway, that's another story. Never mind. Anyway, we're back in. Bagels.
Alas, the bagel came. I made my claim. Would I take away the bagel? They shrieked and screeched, but I did, and I hid it where it'll never be reached. Your father cried, and your mother died, when for extra measure I admit it was a pleasure. I said, sorry, I'm still not nullified, and I laid a little bagel on them. You too, bagel. That your bagel tree will always be a bagel one.
Read your poem!
That was the poem. That was the whole poem.
Oh my god. It's just the witch's rap, but bagels.
All right. If I was dough boiled in oil, slathered with schmears and dotted with seeds, wrapped up tight and squibbled with an indecipherable codex of symbols, I don't think they'd give credit to the water. I'd hope not. I'd hope my taste would be due to what I was made of rather than what I was made with. I'd hope the combinations of ingredients and labor and love meant more to my makeup than the city where they were shipped to and the bowl they were placed in. Sure, give credit to circumstance and location, but fate is, by all accounts, random, uncontrollable, maybe predestined, but I had nothing to do with it. So why should it matter? You should think only of me when you take your first bite. The combination of all of my pieces proportionally placed with care and consideration. Don't think of the water. Think of the dough and the oil, the schmear and the seeds. I'm a bagel.
You're the little bagel.
And I'm just a bagel.
I feel like in a couple of your last poems, and it's funny because I almost feel like you have two distinct styles that you write in. And I feel like your first one
Read me.
is the first one. And then your bagel one is the second one. And
Say
the second
more.
one is... Your first one is the first, and the second one is the second.
The second.
No, I feel like your first
Did you
one
see it?
is the first, and it's very like... it engages your audience very intently. And it's kind of dreamy and like I'm trying to think of the right words for it.
It's a good thing you're not a poet.
Thank God. I mean, I truly believe that, like, if there was, like, a god of the literary world looking down on me, they'd be like, oh, no. How is this happening?
Wait, did you ever watch Charmed? The original Charmed?
Maybe like a million years ago. Some of it.
In Charmed, because I have an eidetic memory for everything I've ever seen before, they have the concept of muses. And so muses are like, they're like invisible people you can't really see. And they literally sit over your shoulder while you create something and observe it while giving you energy.
That's fun.
Yeah. So like, what if you had like little like muses that sort of like flitted around, and so that's why like your creativity can never stay, because they're one particular person, so they stay for as long as they kind of can, and then you feel like the rest of their aura as they like go to somebody else's house type of thing.
You should read Big Magic.
Okay.
It's by Elizabeth Gilbert, who wrote Eat, Pray, Love.
Okay.
I think you'd love it. It is her I'm burping. Her thoughts on like how to live a fulfilling creative life, how she balances, and her thoughts on living a creative life versus making your creativity your career.
Okay.
And how she struggled with that in the past, and how she tries to balance it now that is her life and her livelihood.
Okay.
Because it's so much pressure to put on your creativity. But she has this whole... Anyway, that's not part of it. I mean, that's not what I'm relating to this. She has this idea that ideas are like this... I'm explaining this so poorly.
You're doing great.
She has this theory...
Okay.
That ideas are
Mm-hmm.
these separate entities that like float around, and they're just trying to find a host to manifest them.
Interesting.
And so if an idea visits you and you are distracted, or you're busy, or you have life drama and there's too much going on, and you are not in the right headspace to manifest it, to write the thing, or to draw the picture, or to paint the scene, like if you are not in the headspace to do it, it will leave you and it will find someone else.
Ooh, okay.
Which is how you get things like the Broadway version of Titanic and the movie of Titanic coming out within months of each other, literally 100 years after the actual event of the Titanic.
Interesting.
Like the ideas visit you. And so you have to be open and receptive to letting that be your muse, and to channeling it into your work at all times if you want to be a creative. And granted, life things happen, and you get distracted, and there's times when you can't, but but that if you abandon an idea, it will abandon you too.
Oh.
I know.
It's really sad how we get on this topic.
Oh, but I don't think it's sad. I think it's like this amazing opportunity, but also, as she puts it, like a responsibility.
Yeah.
Like if we've been given these gifts to have creative talents or to be writers, to be artists, to be singers, whatever, songwriters, whatever it is, like not only is that a gift, but it's also a responsibility to follow through on that and to make sure that we are manifesting those ideas. Because they're out there and they're looking for us.
Oh,
isn't that cute?
So sweet.
Like sometimes I think of these like little like, you know, those little glowy orbs from
Avatar.
Brave.
Oh, from Brave. Oh, the Will-o'-the-Wisp.
Yes. Sometimes I think of them like that, and they'll just come and like, just
or like
perch on my shoulder.
Have you seen Princess Mononoke?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they have these little tiny forest spirits. You should look them up right now. Yeah.
Oh, they're so weird and cute.
Yeah, look at them.
How cute and weird. I love them.
And they have little heads that they just sort of go like...
Yeah. They're like... Oh my God, we've gotten so off topic.
I know. I was trying to like retrace how we got here because you started talking about that book because I talked about muses because I talked about Charmed, but why did I talk about muses?
I was talking about something. I was telling you something and I can't remember what it was.
Oh wait, was it because you were talking about my two different styles?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. So I feel like the one style is very like, it's like you're talking directly to the reader. And you're having this like heart to heart with them. Mm-hmm. About whatever like intimate thing that you're like concept or whatever that you're trying to convey. Yeah. And the other style I feel like is this really awesome like playful energy that is still like it has profoundness and it has, is that a word?
Profanity.
Profanity is bad words.
It's bratwurst?
Bad words.
Bad words. I don't know.
We have to cut all of this.
No, we don't.
Cut it all. Cut
Profanity is bratwurst.
Cut
the podcast. We'll cut it all.
Cut the podcast. Cut it all. No, but so I think your first one is all about like depth and connection, and your second one is kind of about joy and playfulness with a lot of depth to it. And it gives me, and I've said this before, and I do mean it as a wholehearted compliment, because I think they're an amazing writer. I think you give me Shel Silverstein vibes when you write stuff like this.
Thank you. Well, wait, but I want to comment real quick on that thing. I can totally see you writing this sort of incredible, and the way I'm going to sound this, it's going to sound very cheesy, like a love novel. Like, not like a romance novel.
Okay.
Not like one of those cheesy paperbacks, but like this kind of like novel that navigates like a person's experience with themselves and their experience with others, because you like ask and answer, I think, a lot of like very poignant questions about how other people make you feel in a way that I think other people don't provide that exposure to themselves. And I really like it.
That's so sweet. Thank you. Oh my God. Oh.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too.
Oh my God.
Always remember.
Please don't ever forget. Just like don't okay? Just don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Just don't forget.
Always do it and don't do it.
Always and don't. And forever and never and
goodbye.